Coming up, the NFL takes a stand over kneeling. And the president says if you don't like it, you can leave the country. Starbucks, the world's largest coffee chain and soon to be homeless shelter. Why the company's new open door policy may need a few tweaks. And later, a warning for white people. Don't drop the N-word. Ever, but especially in front of Kendrick Lamar. Even if you're supposed to be rapping along to his own lyrics. Like It or Not starts right now. There is nothing hotter than this show than the Washington Capitals. Here with Devontae Smith-Pelly, Nick Backstrom, I'm Alex Ovechkin.
I get to be Nick Backstrom.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Yeah, I see
the blonde hair,
on
of
the
course.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you think?
You're scoring a lot of goals if you're
Hey, I'll take it.
Let's go Caps, right? Wow. First up, it is President Trump's breakup letter to Kim Jong Un. The commander-in-chief has called off what was supposed to be his Nobel Peace Prize winning accomplishment, that historic summit with North Korea. And in a letter explaining why, the president blamed recent comments by the little rocket man, which he says were full of tremendous anger and open hostility. That's my best Samuel L. Jackson. But the president says he was very much looking forward to the meeting, and he complimented the wonderful dialogue that he and Kim had been building. And in closing, he tells the dictator not to hesitate to call or write if he ever changes his mind and wants to meet. So, like it or not, Nobel Peace Prize will have to wait.
This is like a lover's G-chat or like back in the day AIM, where you left the statuses up.
Yeah, if they had read it in North Korea, which I don't think they do, that's where this would probably
if they
belong.
didn't limit the internet to everybody, exactly. Look, they're playing games, and wasn't there a statement released that Kim Jong Un or somebody delegated to write for him said that they would be willing to meet at any time? It's all playing games. I still think it's going to happen. Call me crazy. Many of you do. I still think it might happen.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's going to happen as well. I want it to happen. I'm rooting for President Trump on this. However, he put the cart before the horse, and that's why he has egg in his face right now.
Well, he always does.
Oh, you're rooting for this to happen?
I want it to happen. You don't want world peace?
I am not certain that the right person is in office to actually have constructive talks here, and that's what I'm overly concerned about.
How so, though? He's the only president to even get to this stage. He's the only president to get those prisoners back. So how is he not the right one to sit there and
He got to first base, Britt. He hasn't hit the home run yet.
I think
that's what's going
there
on
is.
here.
My mind
There,
went a lot of
I don't want to
places.
make a lot of similarities here because it's really unfair to Donald Trump to make any similarities, but there is one that these two have in common, and I think it's attention.
Wow.
I think they both really like the attention, and I think they both are thriving off of it in their own nations and around the world, that they both like the attention that is sought after all of this. And the drama surrounding it is a bigger deal than I think the actual talks, because I don't believe they'll
I
be
agree with
fruitful.
you. You could argue Kim Jong Un, as sick as this is to say, has become more of a world celebrity because of these reality TV style fights through the media with Trump. I mean, CNN was praising how beautiful his sister looked during the Olympics. That became a running story. Do you remember? It's like, oh yes, the first family of dictatorship and murder. Let's put them in Vogue magazine. So yeah, I think he likes it too.
Kim Jong Un wanted world attention. He now has it because of Donald Trump. Can't say the same for Donald Trump anymore, at least in a positive light. Next up, we now know where President Trump will be Sunday afternoons this fall, right in front of his TV, where he will no longer be assaulted by images of NFL players kneeling for the national anthem. The league approved a new policy that basically says if you're on the field during the anthem, stand up. If you don't want to stand, well, stay in the locker room or face a fine. President Trump weighed in on the decision during a visit with Fox and Friends. Take a look.
I don't think people should be staying in locker rooms, but still, I think it's good. You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, you shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country.
I guess he told us. So no more kneeling, like it or not.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I like it. Look, it's taken 3 years. That is the really disturbing part to this whole situation, in my mind, is that Roger Goodell has been very reactive instead of proactive. So at least they have a policy in place. What are they supposed to do? Everyone's saying this wasn't an issue right now. You know one player would be kneeling. Smile at me, guy. And look, if you want to protest, you can do that. You can stay away from the entire field. You can do that in the locker room. One of the Jets owners, Christopher Johnson, said that he would take the fine personally, that he wouldn't let players pay for it, which I find interesting just because his family member is a diplomat.
Well,
for
just
the
to be
Trump
clear,
administration,
though, the fine is on the team. They cannot fine the player because
Right.
you cannot fine a player for exercising constitutional rights,
First
which
Amendment.
ultimately you cannot do.
Yeah.
I have a problem with the idea.
Yeah, you can.
I really have an issue with the president saying that someone should be deported.
Yeah.
But wait,
Over a peaceful protest. That is absolutely obtuse
Insane.
and ridiculous. That said, we all know why this is happening. This is a bottom line. It's a business decision.
Yeah.
It has little to do with what's happening there. And on one aspect of it, I agree with you. I never thought this belonged on those fields on Sundays at 1 o'clock. I am all for the players peacefully protesting any issue that they want in their communities, but not while wearing the uniform and the helmet of those teams, and on Sundays, mainly because the NFL is a entertainment company. They are not a social activism platform. And I think the owners do have some rights.
Yeah.
I don't know that they handled it well, but I do think they have some rights to say, we don't like this and we don't want this happening on the field.
I agree with you to a certain extent. A couple of things. First of all, from a legal standpoint, you are correct. The NFL has every right to say, hey, you got to stand. It's a business. They own the business, the owners. You can tell your employees to do what you want to do. Second of all, it looks bad for the NFL owners. Why? Because at the end of the day, as you stated, the Jets owner now said, hey, I'm going to pay a fine. What if I now work for, let's say, an NFL owner that doesn't pay the fine? I don't know if I'm going to be as inclined to play for that NFL team. And then
Yes, you
last
would.
but not least, thirdly, when you look at it, the NFL overall looks bad because now you're going to get a fine. You're going to receive monies based upon me exercising my First Amendment right. So why not donate that money back to the cause, which had nothing to do with disrespecting the flag, just bringing awareness to social issues that are affecting the African
There are
American
only
community.
32 NFL teams. I don't care what either of you say. If you have a chance to make $1 million+ and to live your dream, you're going to play for that team. I think. And we in the entertainment business and media, we have contracts. There are clauses that say if you bring embarrassment to the company, maybe that's happened in my past. they could release you. So to your point, if it being a business, they have the ability to enforce this over the freedom
That is
of
an
speech
interesting point to
constitutional right.
suggest that the company would be embarrassed by someone peacefully protesting police brutality. And if that's the company's actually embarrassed by something like
If it's
that, I think the
hurting their
company needs
business
to look
and
at itself.
alienating other fans,
And I agree, and that's why this is a bottom line business decision, and that's why I agree with the ownership. They had to do something, even if they did it in the wrong way. Starbucks is already one of the biggest coffee chains in the country, and it could end up being one of the biggest homeless shelters. I'll tell you why. Next, like it or not.
good music.
I bet you don't wait in line at Starbucks that long anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they move real quick, don't they? What would you like, sir?
Now get in your car.
Red carpet down for
The milk is already steaming, sir. What would you like? Upon further review, if y'all want to have a venti size sit-in, we'll just mind our Pike Place business. Starbucks promised immediate changes after a Philadelphia store kicked out 2 black guys who tried to use the bathroom without buying anything really quickly. To avoid any sort of problem in the future, the company now says its coffee houses and their bathrooms are open to everyone, paying customer or not. And while the plan got some support, others are criticizing the fact that that might leave less room for actual paying customers and could turn the stores into drug and homeless havens. So like it or not, massive overcorrection here to an incident that occurred in one shop.
I think you probably would best.
I actually like this. I think this is a good thing. What's going to end up happening is it's going to be to the discretion, I would assume, of the employees that are actually working there that day to say, hey, you know what, would you like to buy something maybe? Would you like the code to the actual bathroom to go use the restroom? I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think more people are making it bigger than what it actually is. I will still go to Starbucks. I bet you there will still be a seat made available for me, and I bet you everybody's still going to love the coffee.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an overreaction, though.
You do?
Because, look, there are 16 and 17-year-old minimum wage workers now that are going to be entrusted with regulating people just sitting there all day. I mean, what if there's confrontations between people? I don't know. How do you feel about that, Bram?
I don't really feel like that this is a big deal. I think it's an overreach for them to have to feel like they need to go in this direction. I appreciate there was a corporation that had something happen and they didn't downplay it. And they said, we're going to take some action. And they maybe have gone a little too far. But I also don't go to this place where I go, oh, here we go. Every person who's a derelict on the street is now going to show up and hang out in Starbucks overnight. Like, I just don't kind of see that playing out that way.
There's some interesting characters at my local Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts
Well, you know.
that camp out in the winter.
Okay, but I mean, they're not going to be hanging out in stall 2.
I already thought people did hang out all day, like the pseudo-intellectuals who had the laptop, probably cruising Facebook and pretending they were working. So I thought this already happened.
There's a person there who paid $3 and stayed for 4 hours. They turned it into their office. Is that really any different than what they're suggesting might happen in a Starbucks?
All I gotta say, we've talked about this before. Their diversity and inclusion teaching day is May 29th. It's the day after my birthday and the Capitals game 1 when I'm gonna need some coffee. And that was a little drop on my birthday if you didn't catch that. But
I just go there for the Wi-Fi.
I'm against it.
A warning for white people. Don't rap along with Kendrick Lamar, even if he asks you to. Coming up next, why some critics say the Pulitzer Prize winner, rapper, set one woman up to fail at a recent concert. Like it or not. Hey, we're talking about the N-word again. Go figure.
Can't wait.
So we joked on this show before about Chris Rock's Dr. Dre rule. The rule basically states that white people with black friends need to check with them first before saying the N-word in a song lyric. Well, one woman at a Kendrick Lamar concert apparently forgot. The rapper asked the crowd if anyone knew the lyrics to his 2012 track, Mad City. She volunteered, rapped along, and the N-word came out of her mouth. That's when Kendrick Lamar cut her off for using the racist word, telling her she had to skip it. She didn't seem to realize she said it until the audience booed her off the stage. Some critics have called the rapper out for the move, saying he set her up for failure. And if he didn't want her to perform his lyrics, he shouldn't use the word in the first place. So like it or not.
Well, I make a practice of not saying that word in general, even if someone demands that I do it on a stage in front of thousands of people. That said, if he doesn't want people to repeat his lyrics, maybe he shouldn't put it in the song in the first place. And I agree, white people really shouldn't say it ever in any context, but if there ever felt like a safe place to do it, it would have been at the Kendrick Lamar concert while singing the actual song with the word in it.
Yeah.
So yes, she was set up for failure. Who knows the words to this song? I do. Will you sing them? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you self-edit yourself in the middle of it?
You know what's crazy, though, is that I actually do. Like, I've trained my mind enough when I listen to rap songs, because I do. Believe it or not, I do. And when that word comes up, I just kind of, like, do the awkward, you know.
Just a quick bleep.
Yeah, what noise do you make?
Yeah.
All white people have a specific noise to make when that word is about to come up, you know, and then we all make that noise to avoid saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an attractive noise. But, so I do that, but at the same time I'm with Bram on how can you celebrate freedom of speech as a rapper? How can you put this word repeatedly in your songs that's on the radio and you ask somebody to sing along? It should be an inclusion moment, not ridiculing the person who's paying money to go to your concert to listen to your music. Don't put it in the songs if you don't want to.
Where are you on this? Where are you on this?
I'm with the both of you all. I've said this time and time again. Kill the damn N-word.
Yeah.
Why? Because this is what happens when you use it in a song.
Yeah.
So, you know, for years, African Americans, we want to be equal. We want to sit at the table. We get to the table. By the way, we're now at the table. Hey, you can't use this word. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's Kendrick Lamar's fault.
Yeah,
Shame
it
on
is.
him. Oh, well.
I know Alexa has a calming voice, puts up with your dumb requests, and largely has a calming influence on your life, but she's a real two-faced snitch who is going to ruin your life like every other woman. Kidding. Is Alexa spying on you? Possible. Get this glitch. One couple had a private conversation recorded and then sent to their contact list. Ooh. Amazon blames the error on a random string of words in the couple's conversation. Insert joke there. And says it will look into ways to make sure that that does not happen again. So like it or not, Alexa is secretly going to ruin your life.
Where's the glitch of recording? Like I thought I was having this loving conversation with Alexa every time I needed her. I didn't know that that was even a capability.
She's
of
a
it
sneaky
to be recording.
one.
If your wife's name is Alexa, you might as well not buy this.
Yeah.
Okay? You're done.
I already have enough issues
Yeah.
when you're in one corner of your apartment or house and it's not echoing right, and I just am screaming bloody murder. Alexa! So I already have issues with her, but that's scary.
That's very scary. I've just come
Sure,
to say,
contact
you know
us?
what? Anytime I talk, because I have it right, honestly, I have it sitting right next to my bed, in my bedroom. And it's the best thing ever until you realize it is actually recording your conversations. I just hope.
How would it respond if it didn't?
Well, I just
Right?
hope it doesn't send it to, you guys for what I was saying about you guys in my bedroom. That's going to be a problem.
In your bedroom.
Please don't talk about me in your bedroom. I'll never say the N-word if you stop talking about me in your bedroom. How about that?
But you have one as well, right?
I've got a couple of them, actually. Wow. And I love the device. I do. I think it's a fantastic, futuristic, amazing device that does a lot of wonderful things, but I think it's spying on me. Yeah. And have you seen it turn on by itself?
Yeah, the little blue light.
Because it does every once in a while, and it makes you go, now, how did that happen?
Or you say something similar to Alexa, and then the light goes off, and it starts talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, artificial intelligence is the most frightening advancement in technology.
We're going to become Terminator.
Yes. So, be aware that Alexa is not on your side.
Hey, I'm okay with a handsome Arnold Schwarzenegger swooping in. And
Is that right? Is that what you tell Alexa every day?
Yeah.
Now that I know the recording thing's setting it out, we can start sending it sweet nothings to places we want it to go. See if Alexa will help us
Obviously,
out.
they need to make a couple of changes. Maybe even change the voice as well. The response as to how she responds to you.
That's right.
I don't know.
See, millennials don't trust anything. Between their avocado toast, student loan debt, and man buns, millennials get a really bad rap. People like Michael Rotondo do not help. The 30-year-old has been locked in a legal fight to live with his parents. He had been living at home for 8 years rent-free when they tried to kick him out, and then he told the judge he needed more time since he's unemployed. The judge sided with the rents. Bye, Felicia. So, like it or not, living at home with mom and dad is deserving of ending up in front of a court.
What do you say, Britt?
I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I guess I was the resident unemployed one recently. I did not want to move back home with my parents, so you're 30 years old.
Yeah. How's Thanksgiving going to go this year? We kicked you out legally. How's that going to work out?
Well, at some point you need to. I don't care if he's 30 years old. I think a lot of people watching may have a family member who's gone through a lot or has just underachieved. And at some point you need someone to give you a kick in the butt and say, get off your something nice.
But that should have happened at the age of 18.
Yeah,
I
it goes
fault
back to
his parents for all of this.
Enabling.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean you have to take you to court? I'm your father. I'm your mother. Get the hell out of my house.
Where'd he get the legal fees? If you had the legal fees, why don't you pay for some rent, Michael Rotondo? In the meantime, Alexa, tell my daughter and son they can live with me forever, and I will never take them to court. They can stay forever if they want.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Last week we talked about how if you're a woman without kids, something's biologically wrong with you, right? According to Candace Owens. So at least I don't have to worry about my kids staying with me till they're 30 years old.
I suppose.
And as a man, aren't you embarrassed that now the entire world, forget the country, the entire world has looked at you and said, hey, you're still living with mom and dad, and
Did you see a picture
you're
of that
still
guy? I don't think
arguing to live with mom and dad?
Do you see him? I don't think he cares too much about what people think about his
Imagine the conversation that those parents had to go, are we really going to sue this kid? Yeah, we are really going to sue this kid.
They won, just like the Capitals, rocking the red, or Vegas gold. The Washington Capitals are Stanley Cup Final bound for the first time in 20 years. Coming up next, we'll take a look at their odds of winning it all, believe it or not. This Memorial Day will be unlike any other here in D.C. That's because the holiday also marks Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, featuring the one and only Washington Capitals. The team clinched the Eastern Conference Championship title earlier this week, beating Tampa in 7 games, and now they'll face the Vegas Golden Knights, as Bram mentioned. This is DC's first shot at a title in 20 years. It's so sad to say that. And the first trip to the Stanley Cup Final for Alex Ovechkin, who's arguably one of the league's greatest players ever. So like it or not, I mean, this is pretty easy to say you like, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let me just say this, and I hate doing the confidence part of this because anybody who's a Capitals fan knows they have invented ways of losing. But I think they're a freight train. I think they're going to win.
Yeah.
But
I really
it's different
do.
this year.
Yeah.
I really mean that. I mean, Alex Ovechkin scoring 62 seconds into Game 7. I've never seen him. We've covered this. You've been a fan of this team forever. I've covered them for about 10 years. I've never seen this determination. And when things didn't go their way, they went down 2 games to Columbus. They lost the first game at home to Pittsburgh. They have fought back in a way we haven't seen in other years.
You know what I think is going to happen? I think the Capitals and the organization as a whole will become a better team for taking on Vegas. Everything in Vegas is better.
The league is going to be pushing for Vegas, though, I promise you.
You think so?
It's an expansion team. It wasn't even in existence 11 months ago, and they had the tragedy, the shooting tragedy earlier. I think there's a lot of moxie kind of going for Vegas, but they've had a week off. Hopefully their legs just
this is a really unusual story, really unusual. No expansion team does this, like gets to the final. In this era, it's almost impossible what they've done. They're a great story, but like in the NCAA Final Four, when Cinderella gets there, they always lose.
Yeah.
Sister Jean ain't going to Vegas to help out the Vegas Golden
You know,
Knights.
Sister Jean's going to be this time around. Bram Weinstein. Just
That's right.
There,
She's going to be
his
sitting here in
popcorn.
Washington. That's right. I can't wait. I mean, I've been waiting for this for a very long
And they
time.
also have Washington's former general manager is the general manager,
right.
Georgia McPhee.
Ooh, yep.
Some bad blood. But it's Memorial Day weekend.
Well, that's what I'm doing Memorial Day weekend. What are you guys doing?
Actually, barbecuing. Can't wait to do it.
Yeah?
You're looking at me as if you're going to do something else. Yeah, I love to barbecue.
Yeah. I will be barbecuing too. And if you want to send a gift for my birthday on Monday, just send it right here.
I am going to see if I survive a weekend in Vegas watching my team play.
Please send us pictures. Take selfies.
Yeah.
You hate them. Take
I
a
hate
selfie
them.
There.
I hate them,
If it's
but
historic, you can take a selfie.
Fine.
That's historic.
I will take, it'll be me stealing the
Yes.
Stanley Cup and running down the strip in Vegas, and I will send you a selfie of that.
Alexa will let us know,
Hangover
too.
core.
All right, guys, have a great week.